Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Welcome. Welcome to another Whisky Wednesday. Now, I know some of you have been missing us over the summer. Yes, we've taken a bit of a hiatus from the Whisky Wednesdays, but I can tell you we're back. We're going to be talking to you in this fashion over the Whisky Wednesdays for the rest of the year. I think we're actually going to be doing every other Wednesday as we go on, which will hopefully keep you up to date with everything that's going on with Murray McDavid, whether that's new and interesting whiskies. We'll be updating you on a variety of events that we'll be joining/hosting on occasions, whether that's a whiskey festival in a town near you. We'll also be hosting some online whiskey tastings, which if you want to get involved with those, then it's quite simple. You just need to go and join us on our Murray McDavid Facebook group. It's the Murray McDavid Whiskey Club. Go and give that a search. Click to join, and that's a little exclusive club, which is a little look behind the curtain of the everyday goings on at Murray McDavid as a whiskey brand. I often post things that I'm working on or looking at in terms of Whisky Creations, interesting things that are developing in our warehouses at Colburn, which is where I've been today, looking at a variety of interesting things, which some I have this evening. Lorraine Glenn, thank you for joining. Loyal viewer. I hope you and Carl are keeping well. So yeah, the Murray McDavid Whiskey Club on Facebook. Go check it out, and that's where you can engage a little bit more with the brand, and also have your say when we're posting in there. What I find really beneficial for that group is just the engagement. What do you think as a whiskey drinker about some of the projects going on? Because of course, the Whisky Creations is all really directly fed into the needs of whiskey drinkers. What do you find interesting? What do you find exciting about particular whiskies? It's very much a space for conversation. So go on over to that group, type away on some of the posts, and we'll get back to you and hopefully start an interesting conversation. So, yes, we've been away for what feels like an eternity. Lots of things going on with Murray McDavid and the team. We've had what can only be described as a sensational summer transfer window. Lots of new members of the team for you guys to meet and get familiar with, whether that's at most likely at a whiskey show, which we have one this weekend, where you will have the chance to meet one of the newest members of the team, Kirsty. She'll be helping me down at the Edinburgh Whisky Festival at Murrayfield on Saturday. It's a 2-session show. I think the doors open at noon, midday. First session finishes at 3:30, and the second session starts at 4:30 until 8. So if you're in Edinburgh, if you're at a loose end, then come and try some delicious drams at the Edinburgh Whisky Festival. It'll be great to have a catch up because we've this is the start of the festival season. Looking forward to pouring your drams and having a natter. We'll have our UK exclusives the 7-year-old Blair Athol, the 14-year-old Glen Tockers, the 5-year-old Kaelila, with a delicious heavy maturation in a Justinos Madeira wine barrique. Those are bottled at higher strengths as well. So if you're looking for big, impactful drams full of flavour, those are certainly a trio of drams to look out for. And we'll also have our second batch of the Cask Craft range, which has been doing wonderfully well. Batch number 3 is going through the bottling halls at the moment. So maybe before the year's ended, we'll have an online tasting for the Murray McDavid Whisky Club on Facebook. So as I say, if you're not already a member, go check it out on Facebook, click to join, and we'll be sharing news of how to get involved with the online tastings. Delicious fun, but also a really great platform to give feedback about what you think about these very affordable, very delicious ranges of single malt whiskies within the Murray McDavid family. Very, very nice indeed. So yes, Kirsty will be joining me down in Edinburgh this weekend. Behind the scenes here, monitoring the comments tonight, we have a new addition, new summer signing. That's Becca. Give us a virtual wave, Becca. No doubt we'll be introducing you more to the Whisky Club for sure on Facebook, and it'd be great to get you out to some events and capture all things social media. That'd be good fun. Some of you already may have met Jesme. Jesme's joined the team as brand development, and yeah, she was down at I think one of the last shows that we've done in the UK, and that was the Whisky Fringe. God, that seems an eternity ago, but a great festival, great event. Thanks for all of you who came and had a natter, had a dram at that festival. My first time there, couldn't believe it. You know, it's one of those events in the whisky calendar that is so highly anticipated, and yeah, it was just really good to be in such a great location and so centrally. You know, you have a lot of familiar faces in the building, and a lot of love, a lot of friendship. You know, Murray McDavid have been back on the scene of Scotch whisky for what, nearly 10 years now, and yeah, lots of friendships have accrued over those times. Some of you joining this evening are certainly familiar faces throughout the years, so thanks for joining along this evening, and thanks for coming to the footy tonight. Forest Mechanics, oh Vic, 8 p.m. at the Mosset Park. Oh, good Lord. Well, you know what, Vic, I've actually got some homework this evening, and I'm not sure if I can take it down to Mosset Park. The homework that I have is actually in front of me here, and it's a very interesting project that we have started a little over a month ago now. For you eagle-eyed social media followers, you may have seen a few posts relating to octaves. Now, an octave, for those who are unaware, an octave is a tiny, teeny cask, beautiful little things. You can almost, you know, take one under your arm. Very, very tempting to try and fit one in my backpack as I'm leaving the warehouse, because they are very, very cool little things. But they hold up to around 60 bulk litres of liquid. So, you know, if you compare that to your standard hogshead, which is around 250 litres, much, much smaller. And of course, you know, the impact of flavour, the impact of colour in a shorter period of time really accelerates those developments into a spirit. Now, we have a few different styles of octaves that have been seasoned with different sherries. And for some of the projects that we will be launching next year, which, of course, if you're not familiar, 2024 is the 30th anniversary of Murray McDavid. So, of course, we are lining up some mouth-watering bottlings, some awesome projects, which is going to celebrate some bottlings that we have done, some legendary bottlings of Murray McDavid, some of which were the creations of the original team, under the guidance of Jim McEwen, Mark Rainier, Gordon Wright, Simon Coughlin, in the Bruichladdich days. So we're going to, doff our cap, as it were, to some very interesting and in some cases controversial bottlings, but these are something different. So I've 4 samples in front of me here, 4 different seasonings of the octaves, 4 different styles of sherry. So I have, and it's all the same spirit, I must add, same age, same spirit. We've simply split hogsheads. In some cases, we've split big old sherry butts, 500-litre vessels, into these octaves. And what I have in front of me is potentially, I've earmarked it as a special bottling for the Spirit of Speyside next year. And there's still conversations that need to happen internally as to how we're going to release these 4 whiskies. But what I would love to do is release them as a set. So, it's really showing you the differences in the effects of sherry maturation. So the 4 different styles, we have Amontillado sherry. So this is a Speyside single malt, of course, as we're lining it up for the Spirit of Speyside Festival. It's 14 years of age currently, and it's spent its initial maturation in refill bourbon. So we would have been starting off with a spirit of this kind of color, something quite pale. Now, these whiskies, or this single malt, has been in these octaves for just about a month. And ordinarily, I probably wouldn't be checking on a spirit so soon after the re-racking process, so soon after filling into a cask. But given the nature of these small casks, the maturation is so accelerated. I'm really keen to keep a close eye on the developments that we're experiencing, because this is the first time that Murray McDavid are really working with octaves to the scale that we are currently. So it's a step into, not necessarily a step into the unknown, but it's certainly a learning exercise of what do these octaves actually do. So as I say, after a month, this single malt has been in the Amontillado sherry octave. Palo Cortado, we're seeing a little bit more depth in color there. The good old classic traditional Oloroso sherry. And of course, the luscious, delicious, sweet PX sherry, Pedro Jimenez. So, live on stream, I'm going to have a little first inspection. I drew these from Colburn late this afternoon. Haven't even had a chance to nose them as yet. So let's see what is going on. Now, this spirit here, you'll notice I'm being a bit coy about revealing the origins of this single malt. I'll give you a clue. It starts with Glen. Much of a clue. There's quite a few to choose from, obviously. But I'm really excited because it's a distillery of real notes. It's going for a real renaissance, and it has been over the past 10 years or so. Really lovely long fermentation, really rich, oily, fruity style of whiskey. I can feel myself saying too much already, so I'm going to stop with the origins there. But the Amontillado finish, as I say, just a month in that small cask. Ooh, we've got some real lovely, real kind of savoury dry fruits there. Real nuttiness to the spirit as well. That's lovely. Interesting. The Palo Cortado. It's a little bit fuller. There's a little bit more of a bit of a chocolatey note coming through on that. Vic Cameron, stop WhatsApping me, you devil. You can't be doing that. But yeah, much fuller style on the Palo Cortado. Interestingly, the colours are quite similar at the moment. Maybe, actually, maybe no, they are really quite similar there. So it's going to be interesting to watch the development each month of the. Of course, we're always looking for flavour development, but one of the big considerations as well is how does the whiskey look on the shelf. And of course, you know, if you're advertising a sherried dram, then you want to see some lovely colour. Of course, the exception may be if it's a Fino sherry, which we don't have in this sherry set because we are looking for those richer, fuller flavours. The Oloroso. Ooh, as you would expect, yeah, lots of rich dry fruits there, lots of burnt orange, bit of clove in there, and a really creamy malty base to that. Ooh, lovely, classic style, that really classic. And the PX sherry, again, just a month. These were actually filled into the octaves in the same re-racking operation. So for me, it's going to be really interesting to release these as a set. Whether that's sets of 70 CLs, unsure. We might go for a smaller size bottle, you know, maybe even a 20 CL of the 4 in a set, so you can really experience the different developments. Oh, and of course the PX. Very luscious, very indulgent. You've actually got some red berries in there, which I wasn't expecting. But you've got the classic, almost a bit of a chocolate cakey element in there. Bit of the dates. Yeah, lovely, lovely jubbly. So yeah, after a month, already seeing some different developments there, which is exciting. I touched upon the point that I wouldn't typically check on a spirit if it were filled into a Madeira wine barrique. You know, maybe I would start looking at that 6 months if it were an older spirit. If it were a much younger spirit, let's say a cask that we've lined up for the Caskcraft series, which, you know, we're dealing with much younger spirits, generally 4 to 7 years of age in the Caskcraft. I might look upon that spirit and assess it every year, just to see the developments there. The guys in the warehouses, of course, they'll be inspecting the structural integrity of the casks, it's not just a case of filling these spirits into these casks, leaving them in the warehouse for X amount of years, and you know, looking at them every 6 months or a year, or even longer in some cases. The guys in the warehouse at Colburn, you know, they're constantly walking the warehouses, making sure that the casks are in good condition, making sure that there is no leaking. Of course, you know, with a lovely 14-year-old single malt from celebrated origin, we don't want those casks leaking, because that will be a very sad day for all of us whiskey fans, for sure. The angels in the warehouse will be loving life, but yeah, our drams will be well, half empty, even a quarter empty. So yeah, props to the guys in the warehouses at Colburn for keeping the casks in good working order. And hopefully these octaves will deliver the goods. You know, 6 months is, well, just under 6 months now is when the Spirit of Space, or is it? No, it's around 6 months until the Spirit of Speyside. That's crazy to say. Lots of preparation to do. I think we'll be announcing all of our events early next year. So yeah, the team are working on some new ideas for events. Of course, we'll be doing some of the core classic events, some of which I hosted in this room last year. Had a few very good afternoons hosting folks for blending workshops, understanding, you know, the different layers that you can achieve by selecting different flavor profiles and spirit styles of malt and grain whiskey, and also introducing different cask finishes in there as well. So that was a lot of fun last year. Lots of delicious whiskies that were created. We had Andy the Highlander in for one of the events, and he certainly provided a lot of good entertainment for the afternoon. And also, I think he might have made, possibly, could be controversial to say, but I think he might have made the best blend of the afternoon. So Andy, it's in your blood, it's in your veins. Congratulations, it was a great dram. So yeah, keep your eyes out early next year for the Spirit of Speyside announcements. Potentially, we'll keep a close eye on the Facebook group, and I'm sure I'll be reintroducing these in a couple of months' time on another Whisky Wednesday, where hopefully we'll see some really interesting developments. In the group or in the chat below, if you've enjoyed any drams that had matured in an octave, I'd love to know your experiences. I've obviously had a few drams from other bottlers that have worked with octaves. Some really interesting styles that have been produced. So yeah, really looking forward to showcasing, launching a lot of these next year. Not just Speyside malts that we have maturing in these octaves. You can see the cogs working. What can I say? What should I not say? But if you come along to a tour at Colburn, if you want to come for a tour up in Elgin, just south of Elgin, at our warehouse at the old Colburn distillery, give a check in the group. We don't offer daily tours, but we can make special arrangements if you're in the area and you're keen to visit us. We welcome that, love showing people around. One of the most eclectic warehouses in Scotland. You know, we've got spirits from over 90 different distilleries maturing under that one roof. Spirit dating back to 1964, and casks from over, I think it was about 120 different origins of oak casks in the warehouse as well. So you factor in those three components, the possibility of flavor development, flavor discovery, flavor enjoyment is really quite endless. And that's what makes my job so fun. That's what makes Murray McDavid such a wonderful, interesting to be following and sipping along and enjoying too. So yeah, if you've not come up for a tour, give us a message and I'm sure we can organize something. And that is when you can probably delve into a few secrets of the Octave series that we'll be launching next year. We've got some incredible spirits maturing in those little casks. So I'm going to leave that at that before I do get myself into trouble. See how those open up a little bit. Yeah, they're quite close on that, but there is a little bit more richness in the Palo Cortado. I've not actually worked with Amontillado as a sherry type before. So really interesting to see how that develops. Of course, we all know and love Oloroso and the PX, really indulgent. As you can see, the color is really escalated quite rapidly on the PX sherry. Partly because, of course, PX sherry as a sherry type is, it's almost dark as ink, very viscous style of sherry, very rich, very sweet, and full of, heavy, sticky fruits. If you've not tried Pedro Jimenez sherry, you must. It's absolutely, if you've got a sweet tooth, it's heavenly. Get yourself a tub of vanilla ice cream, a few dollops of that in a bowl, and a tablespoon of PX sherry over the top. Whoa, you'll be in heaven. Absolute delight, absolute delight. You'll thank me later. Your dentist won't, but you will thank me. It's a indulgent treat, that's for sure. Which of course comes across in the Dram, becoming a very, very, very popular style of sherried whiskies, the Pedro Jimenez, because I think because of that sweeter influence. Delicious. So Edinburgh Whisky Festival this weekend. If you're coming along, come and say hello. Me and Kirsty will be there. And the following week, next Saturday, I will be in Bakewell for the Dram Festival. And I had to do a little bit of Googling before I went to the festival last year. Because of course, you go to Bakewell. It's a beautiful part of the UK, really beautiful. But you should never mention the Bakewell tart, because Bakewell is of course famous for the Bakewell pudding and not the tart. So if you learned anything from today's Whisky Wednesday, that might be a little nugget. The Bakewell pudding is, I believe, I'm probably going to get shot down here, but it's more of a pastry rather than a sponge or short crust offering. I hope I got that right. I'm glad I know more about whiskey than I do Bakewell confectionaries. I'm not actually a fan of them, to be honest, but I never mention that, of course, at the Dram Festival. I'm sure there's got to be. They've probably already done it at the Dram, but there's got to be a perfect pairing for Bakewell confectionaries, of the Bakewell pudding to particular drams. But anyway, Andrew, hello, Andrew. It's been 6 months. As long as the spirit and octave. Oh yes, okay. So you're talking about finishing terms for octaves. Now, Andrew, oh my gosh, you've opened up a can of worms here, because we are releasing some whiskies for our good friends over in the Netherlands at High Spirits. We've got some single malts that have been in ex-bourbon octaves for nearly 10 years. Can you believe? It's absolutely mind-bending to comprehend what is going on in the glass as this spirit has been partly matured in that small octave for nearly 10 years. You would assume, I mean, taking the factor in on black and white, you would assume that that spirit would just be completely overpowered by oak. But it's just not the case. It's not the case. Now, I partly put that down to the environment within the cask, the saturation of wood maybe have helped preserve the integrity of the spirit. There was also a PX octave that we've bottled for them. I think it was a 20-year-old Milton Duff, 22-year-old Milton Duff. Or was it 28? Oh my gosh, there's been so many bottlings recently. I should remember that one. But that had spent I think 5 years in a first fill PX octave, and that Milton Duff kind of the creaminess, the vibrant orange oils still hold through the influence of the octave. So 6 months, I have seen a lot of bottlers adopt that as a bit of a rule. I am still kind of adopting that 6 months, but as you can see, I'm making it my mission to look at these spirits every month, just to see, just to learn about the developments of different spirit styles. Because as I say, we have a really oily, really rich, fruity Speyside spirit maturing in this set of octaves. But, we have, little bit of a definitely Becca's saying, Dane, you're sharing too many secrets. So wrap it up. We have spirit from the south coast of Islay, maturing in octaves. We have some really lovely old growth from Duffton, and something from Orkney. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, right, ladies and gents, thank you for joining. We'd love to see you at the Edinburgh Whisky Festival at the weekends. If not, get in touch on the Murray McDavid Facebook group. Let's have a natter. I'll probably share more thoughts about what we've got going on in the glasses in front of me. And please, share your experiences of any drams that you've enjoyed from octaves. So if I don't see you this weekend, I'll see you in 2 weeks' time for another Whisky Wednesday. Ladies and gents, I hope you're sipping and enjoying something delicious at home. Vic, good luck at the football this evening. I hope the cans, did I get that right? The cans? The Forest Mechanics cans. I think I might have that right. If not, Vic's going to come and shoot me down at Colburn tomorrow, I'm sure. Ladies and gents, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.